What's up, guys? So I'm going to be installing a sway bar on the Civic. Much needed upgrade for this DX 94 Civic. Got it from the junkyard there's a little private junkyard that I went to. I talked to a guy from Facebook Marketplace. He had Integra and some Civics. You can get a front sway bar from EX Civic, and you need these lower control arms with these holes right here. And I needed to get these lower control arms as well because the bushings are shot. Bought some new end links as well. I didn't buy new. These bushings are cheap, but I just sprayed them down with silicone grease. I'm a little tired right now, but I get these done because the tires are the front are really cupping. I think it's because the bushings are just shot in the front. So let's get this jacked up, get this going. I'm pretty excited to install this sway bar. Alright, so I think my plan is I'm going to unbolt this, and I need to punch out the pin that holds this together and unbolt these two bolts, drop all those three down so I can tuck that above all that. Okay, actually, check it out. Follow down that link all the way down there. See if it focuses. Focus. Yeah, right there. And I can loosen that. I can drop that down. Right, it's just two 12 millimeters. I got that ratchet right there to block it, hold it off while I wrench it off. Alright, so I got that other end loosened up. This heat shield is blocking it. There's just two 10 millimeter bolts holding it up, so I'll get that down. I was able to drop down that exhaust, take it off the hangers, and for that shifter, there's two long 14 millimeter bolts that hold it down. Just drop it down a little bit. Okay, and is it? Oh yeah. And that's held down by two. It's a long 12 millimeter and a nut. So see if I can sneak this bar in. I need more clearance, so I had to take off the knob, shifter knob. So drop it down a little bit more. Alright, so there's a sway bar. I can bring that up. Finally, there's enough clearance now to bring it up. So all this car is waiting for is the new control arms. So alright, let's get to that. I'm just bolting back up those 12 millimeter bolts right there. Hands are a little full. It's pretty cramped under here. So yeah, you see how the boots is all ripped. I need to replace those anyways. But yeah, I think that's really all I needed to replace. I didn't needed to take out that other that link that connected to. I would point to it, but I'm so cramped under here I can't even reach. But yeah, you probably don't even need to take out that link on that attaches to it. Just separate those two 12mm bolts and just lower it, loosen up the shift knob up top, and yeah, just unbolt the exhaust and you're good. Got that sway bar in, looking really nice. Put in these links with the new control arms. Haven't tightened it down yet. I was looking up the torque specs. I'm gonna preload the suspension. I don't really much space for a motorcycle, but yeah, I got the jack stand, some foam, or put a block of wood or something underneath the control arm, raise it up until it raises a little bit above the jack stand, so it's loaded. The suspension is loaded. Tighten everything up. I looked it up. Oops. And get my light straight. So back there, I was looking up a Chris Fix video on his Del Sol, and I read up these suspensions are basically the same. So the torque specs for these cars for some reason aren't as readily available. 76 foot-pounds for this bolt, 47 foot-pounds. Stabilizer links, 22 foot-pounds. The rear bushing, that bushing for the sway bar. Oops. See if I can get light. Yeah, right there. These little bolts, 16 foot-pounds, and that back one is 61 foot-pounds. I saw, yeah, just real tight. You don't have enough space for a torque wrench back there. But yeah, I'm excited how it feels to drive. Haven't really got much time. It's Easter. Spent all day with the family, so all right, let's get this going. All right, so I'm gonna be putting on the rear sway bar. Got this from an Integra, and the fronts. Been driving around on the with the front sway bar, and it's definitely it's a noticeable difference. When I go on the highway, I gotta take like wild turns to get on the highway, and whenever I turn, I'd have to brace myself, clench my abdomen, because just the body roll. But not so much with the front sway bar. I think it's a 22mm sway bar, the Integra. When it's not the GSR, the Type R. When it's just the regular one. And yeah, I'm a little bit more at ease with turning. Here's the thing with the Scion, right? It has the front and rear sway bar in there, and it just turns just fine. It's totally grounded, and I'm not like clenching myself or anything when I'm turning into the highway. Just regular turns. Even when I'm going a little bit faster, I feel just totally fine. So yeah, I can't wait. This is probably going to be a whole different, like a new car when I finally put this thing in. So I'm gonna jack it up. I think it's gonna be a lot easier. I got this I got these Integra Got these from Rock Auto. It's brand new. Integra lower control arms. You got to have these holes to put in the sway bar links. And these little holes are for the ABS stuff up, but I'm not going to use those. And I got the hardware for them. So let's jack it up. Jacked up. Tires off. Now let's be taking off these lower control arms. See, for the DX, they already got like these little holes for the ABS bracket, but these two for the sway bar. But they don't have the welded nut back here, so you're just going to have to put a nut back here to meet the bolt. Okay, so, oh shoot, these aren't 17s. I think they're 14s. Okay. Alright, so when you're getting these off, I'd recommend try pushing this down as much as you can when you're screwing these off. That'll help you, because when you're taking these off, the suspension is just trying to pull it up. I think it's because of these trailing arms, they're pulling it up when you're loosening these bolts. So I was pushing it down, and it made it a little easier to get these bolts off. These bottom two specifically. Okay, there's the comparison between them. This is going to be for the rear right, with this is going to be facing like that. So let's get it in. I got the jack under the spring, the strut. I'll just raise it just a little bit. Get this positioned. I can push it under. Push it under there. So I can push this. There you go. I get it aligned. So then I can feed the bolt through there. And these bolts are just hand tight. Don't want to torque them down until everything's all the bolts are in. Or I don't want to torque them down until they're preloaded, and I'll do that in a bit. Okay, installing the other side, and what really helped me is needing to pivot a little bit more to get to this bottom bolt aligned. So I have to loosen this. So let's get this installed. The sway bar situated in there, and these holes, again, there's no welded nut in the back, so I just got a small bolt and a nut to meet it. I'm just going to thread this from inside because it's easier for me, so I could just meet the nut to meet this, right, instead of doing it inside and just try to screwing this inside. So alright, I'm excited. Finally get this in. I'm gonna finish them off with some Loctite as well. I'm gonna look up the torque specs for all these. Looks good. Sweet. Alright, it's getting a little dark out, but just got done. So these bolts, 1, 2, 3, they're all 40 foot-pounds. This bolt in the back is 22 foot-pounds. These 4 bolts are 16 foot-pounds. So, and we're gonna do this. These are all hand tied right now. I'm going to jack up the suspension, until it raises, it's off the jack stand. So that means the suspension will be preloaded, and then I'll torque everything down just so it doesn't damage these bushings. Okay, so let's get to it. They're jacked up. It's just a little bit off the jack stand, so I'm mimicking ride height. So I'll torque all these down. Very excited, looks very nice. Alright, thanks for watching.